I was online looking at a blog of this guy named James White, and his entry was for 1 John 5:1. And what I believe to understand was he was saying that we are born again before we believe, and this really confused me, and he got into something about Greek, and I don't understand Greek. So if you could just please explain 1 John 5:1 to me, I'll hang up so I can listen to it.
Okay, Rachel, thanks for your call. That's a great question. And Joe, I know that you would love to explain that. And this is something that's now kind of come up. We had a call, Cheryl and I did, of a couple weeks back where somebody pointed to 1 John 5:1 as one of those proof texts for regeneration before faith. And yet it doesn't seem to me that that's really what the text is talking about, is it?
No, it's not. Actually, I think the Reformed stance on this, I think they spoke a little bit too soon when it goes to show you're born again or born of God, and then the faith comes after. So let's just read the first half of the verse so everybody knows what we're talking about. It says, whoever believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. And when you look at the Greek text, it implies that being born, gegenetai, is actually in a perfect tense. That simply means that it's a past completed action with abiding results into the present. But when you look at the word believes, it is in the present tense. It's a present participle, literally. So the Reformed scholar would say that because belief is in the present, and it says you have been born of God completely in the past, that this somehow shows that faith follows from being born again in a salvific way. But that does not come out of the Greek text here. And this might be a classic example of trying to read the text with too much of your own theological system as part of it. Born again definitely means that, or born of God means you have been completely saved or born of him in the past. What this text is simply telling you, and it's in concert with the theology of John in 1 John, it's in concert with discovering who are genuine Christians. So when you are born of God, that person can look at another person and tell whether they are actually in the faith. So the fact that belief is present tense simply means that the one born of God will characterize belief in their life. It has nothing to do with the initial salvation of the individual, but it has everything to do with a demonstration of salvation that comes from one who is born of God. And we see this throughout the theology of John. In fact, if you go up to 1 John 4:7, it says here, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone who loves is born of God." It's the same grammatical construction. Present tense love with perfect tense born of God. So that simply means that love is going to characterize in the present moment and on that person who has already been born again. In fact, back in chapter 2, again, John is talking all about practicing righteousness. And he uses the same construction, born of him, or born of God. And that means that the practicing of righteous is something that's a natural byproduct of being born of God. It has nothing to do with initial salvation. It has everything to do with discovering which people are actually saved. And you can see this all through the Gospel of John. In 1 John chapter 4, it talks about the spirit of Antichrist, and we need to make a distinction between doctrine and about how Christ is viewed. And then when you get to 1 John 3, it talks about those who are manifest, who are the children of the devil, or who are children of God. How do you know? Well, you have to look at what follows from their born-again position. So the theology of John here in the context is understanding who indeed are in the faith. It's not talking about how you come to faith. If you want that, you have to go to like Romans 5:1 that says that somebody is justified by faith. And or Acts 16:31 that says, "Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and you and your household will be saved." Those are initial salvation passages. These are simply distinguishing who's in the faith and who's out.
Excellent answer, Joe. And I think just, again, to simplify it, what you said there, the last point, it's really the context. What is John wanting to communicate at this point? He's not talking about how one is born again. That is not the topic of discussion here in 1 John 5:1, is it?
No.
Right, okay. Great. I hope that answered it for you, and thanks. That's a great question. And I think I'm just glad Joe had a good opportunity to answer that, because there has been a lot of controversy over that over the past couple of weeks. So I think Joe's done a good job of just kind of setting the record straight.